click that, and now you can hear me. So sorry about that. That was my fault. So there you go. You should be all good now. You should be all good.
Well done, Charlie. Well done.
So if you can keep us in touch with the Spurs score. So that joke was totally wasted
Yeah,
on
that
them.
was gone.
Cool. And no worries. And any questions, you obviously drop in the live chat. So I need to flick between two programs there because one will have a massive delay on it. So yeah, so questions can come in. I've got a few plugs which I'll do towards the end rather than at the front, and I'm dreading asking Ray
Don't be scared.
his first
It's
question.
fine.
So, as I said, drop your questions in the chat for everyone to see. And from there, I'm going to invite Ray to bring his first question to the table. I'm dreading it. I'm
He gets
absolutely
so
dreading it.
nervous. He's in my house and he's
Yeah,
nervous.
yeah.
So, okay, I spoke to you a couple of weeks ago in regards to like my own development, in regards to my guide, and told you I know my guide's name. It wasn't offered to me. I just know it to be her name.
Yeah,
Um, and you explained what I should be asking next.
yeah,
And I've done the easy stuff like colour, show me colours.
yeah,
I've started doing textures and stuff like that as
yeah.
well.
Okay, sounds good.
What's the next step? What do I need to start asking from there?
Okay, so good question. Many of you will be wanting more information on your guides and the relationship that you have with your guides. And it's a great start, as Ray said there, to ask the obvious questions. You know, what's your name? If you need a name, show me emotion, so you can have this relationship where you start feeling joy, or you start feeling like a dread or a hate, just for the purpose of experiencing that kind of emotion. And then textures. Textures is a really good thing because if we can't see something, we can then feel it, which I resort to within my mediumship. But what I then suggest that you can do is that, and maybe you're going to a place that you are comfortable with your guide. So a lot of people choose like a meadow or
Yeah.
a cave or something like that. It may even simply be your front room that you see your guide enter and join you in your front room. And within this experience, you can ask them to take you on a journey that is best for you. That the hard thing to do is to go with it, is to follow it. It's very difficult to go, I am seeing, I am aware of the color or this texture or this emotion, and trusting that it is coming from your team. So it's one of those things where you build the relationship in trust, and then they will take you on a journey. So to give you an example of something that I was doing, I would set aside, say, a Monday evening, and I would say from 7 till 9, this time is for you, and I would find that I would have like this range of emotions, or this journey where I would maybe go to the clouds, or I would go and meet other people in this like dream-like room. You know, there'd be clouds or these huge
Yeah.
columns within a room where they would introduce other people for me, because there's going to be more than one, if your mind will allow it. If not, that singular guide will show you everything that you need to do through that. So there's no right or wrong way of doing that. So I remember once upon a time a medium friend very early on in my development said to me, Charlie, you must wear the guide like a second skin. And so that meant involving them in my everyday, you know, like if I was upset, or if I was emotional, or I was experiencing joy, then share that experience with them, like talk to them, say it looks a little bit mental, looks a little bit crazy, but what you're doing is building this relationship with you and your guide. So Carol's saying evening. So Carol's on moderator. You are also a moderator,
Oh, am I?
but you can't moderate
Oh, okay.
while you're
Okay.
being part
That'd be
of
a bit
it. So
unprofessional, wouldn't it,
it
really?
would, yeah.
Yeah.
So so yeah. So he's looking forward to your questions tonight. I'm
Yeah.
apprehensive
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I'm apprehensive. So all good. So Do
Any
you have
questions,
another
guys?
question? So no one else wants
No
to
one
pop a
else yet.
question there. Yeah, no, not yet, not yet.
Okay. In terms of like, trying to get your first, like, lots of information, um,
From the guide
yeah,
or
from
from?
from your guide.
Okay,
I've tried to use people like my partner's grandfather because I know she's very fond of him. But the
okay.
information I get through, I feel is stuff that she's already told me because she's told me lots about him.
Oh, okay, okay.
How do you
Decipher between the
decipher
two.
between what you've been told and
Yeah,
what's different?
and that makes perfect sense as well. So we will have that battle of consciousness, you
Yeah,
know, like, so do I know that? Do I already know that? And so what's best to do is to get it out of the way. So if you're going to sit there for 2 months trying to practice and practice and practice with your team, but the whole time you're diluting with, but I think I already know that. I think I already know that. The best thing to do is just to get it straight on the table. Like, I know this about your grandfather, and make it so it comes out loud.
I suppose you
Say
can
it out loud,
eliminate that link then, can't you? I guess.
and
Yeah,
just immediately get rid of it. So you know what the problem can be, and you are eliminating it immediately. And mediumship is one of those things that you want to sort of get rid of the clutter as quickly as
yeah,
possible. So I would even do that in a sitting. You know, like, if I was giving you a
yeah.
sitting right now, I would say to you, Ray, I know this about you. However, I am being drawn to that time in your life, and I know that this particular segment I do know,
Yeah.
which eliminates Charlie from the mind
So it's
there.
it's kind of not dismissing it completely.
Exactly,
It's
acknowledge it.
adapting from it, and
Yeah,
yeah,
that's it. And then
yeah.
it can spiral away from it then. So
Okay.
you will know immediately, do you know what? I know I don't know that
Yeah.
information because I've shared what I already know, if
No,
that
that
makes
makes sense.
sense.
Yeah, it does make sense because I mean that's been half the battle for me, battling with myself, thinking, no, I know this anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
Make
knowing what direction to go from there.
it,
So yeah,
it, it makes perfect sense. And what I try to do, sorry, I've got to lean over you there. But what I try to do, and I am going to do a video on it very shortly, is that you are a phone, and all that is me the communicator, the spirit world,
yeah,
and you being the medium. You're just like doing
yeah,
this in between. And what we do is I always try and imagine, what would you do if it was like you're getting in late at the train station, or I'm getting in late at the train station, and I phone you to say, Ray, don't be there at 10 because I'm not going to be there at 10. I'm going to be there at 11.
mm,
And then you take the phone and go, or be in the phone and go, do you know what? I don't like what you're saying to me. I'm going to tell Ray to be there at 10. And so then the phone has made the decision.
yeah,
That I wouldn't keep that phone very long if it was changing my
yeah, yeah,
conversation, if it was diluting my information. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah,
So I what I want is for my phone to speak exactly the words that I'm speaking, so you can hear
yeah,
me very
yeah.
clearly. And so what we do is that we go, well, I'm not really happy with that, or I want a little bit more than that, when actually I'm not offering you anymore. I just want you to
Just
say
wanted to say
those
that.
words.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I try to liken everything around being the phone in a
yeah,
conversation. So I just say what I see, I say what I feel, I say what I sense, taste, hear,
yeah,
etc. And what a lot of people then tend to do is not acknowledge or accept that they can do more than just hear, see, feel,
yeah.
sense, taste. You know, they kind of put it to one.
And I suppose that's why it's so important that, like, being on the receiving and being a recipient of reading, that if it doesn't sit right, they tell you that it doesn't sit right.
Exactly. I
So
don't understand what you're saying
yeah,
to me. And then what we can do as the medium is then go back and repackage that.
yeah,
So I can then say, right, they're not understanding what you're saying. Give me it in a different way.
yeah,
And if I try to do it in a way that I'm trying to see it, and they're not understanding the visual effect that I'm having, then what I try to do is say in my mind, they're not understanding this visual that you're giving me. So let's remove the visual and give me a sense, like a feeling of it. And then I can try and package the feeling of that, which will have a different set of words. Ultimately, it's the same energy, it's
yeah,
the same information, but we're presenting it in a different way, and hopefully our recipient can then understand
yeah.
what it is that we're trying to do. So Kerry's saying evening, so good evening.
Good evening.
So Kerry was a new uh, student to me, not to mediumship, to me, on my last workshop, um, and it's just a confidence issue with Kerry. So I need to sort of build her up. So she's a good medium. She just don't believe it. So evening to you, Kerry. So right, people are starting to jump in now. So Jeanette is asking, how do you get over stage fright?
He doesn't. He
Yeah.
doesn't.
That's a very good point. A very good point. So Ray is actually very supportive of certainly my local work, where I've held local events for your daughter's school. Actually,
Yeah,
one of them,
yeah.
wasn't it? Which was a good evening. And outside, I was shaking and I was smoking cigarettes, and it was like, oh my god, I'm still so nervous. But I know that what I try to do, if I'm going to have to use my phone as example. So if this is me, there, this is me. This would be my spirit, and that would be my physical that encases my spirit. And what I'm trying to do is express the spirit part of me. So what I say is that this is perfect. This is perfection, because spirit is perfection. And so therefore in my mind I can say that that is never wrong. That's never wrong, because it's spirit in expression. This bit of it, this bit will get it wrong. That the outer coating, the physical part of me will get it wrong. So the failings are with this. So I try to remove it, and listen to what this is. And so in my mind I tell myself that my mediumship, my team are amazing. My team never get it wrong. Why would they get it wrong? Why would my team misguide me? Why would my team give me the wrong information? Why would they do that? And so in the process of development, I created an avatar as such that the medium Charlie is not physical Charlie. So I can see it as it's like my job or my calling, my passion. It's the things that I love doing. And so then what I do is in that mindset, in that frame there, I can hand over my physical failings to the spirit part of me, and then deliver it in that way. So the stage fright can still be there with physical Charlie, but the medium Charlie can then go out in a cloak as such of perfection. So I don't get it wrong. I won't get it wrong. Why would they get it wrong? Why would they give me that information? So the moment I hand over, and what I mean by handing over is I'm on the stage now. There's nothing I can do. I need to public speak, but I know that what I'm going to say is going to be correct, because I know where my energy's at, and I know that my team are there. Therefore, my confidence is in them, not in myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
If I
yeah,
made sense there, yeah.
yeah. I guess
Cool.
it's good practice as well for when you are going into work mode.
Yeah.
I suppose it makes it easier to remove yourself
Definitely,
from the readings.
100%, and it's like I know that Ray's getting real itchy, like a diehard Spurs fan, and Spurs are playing right now, but
Nil nil.
it's like, but it's like when you go onto the 5-a-side pitch or the 11-a-side pitch, you don't think of all the things that could go wrong. All you're concentrating on is kicking that ball in the net. That's all you're concentrating on. And so it's the same thing. It's like all I'm concentrating on is, if I stay with my team and my guides here, they're gonna get it right. Therefore, I will get it right. My mind is nowhere else, just in that one space. That
Yeah,
makes sense, yeah.
yeah.
So
Who have we got?
there's the next workshop. So we got Lillian, who is my French. Well, she's not my French translator. She translates French. She works more with my colleague down at Urshamstar. But she recently was a course organizer for me in Geneva.
Oh yes, I saw the video. She was on the video.
That's it. That's the one,
Yes.
and that is Lillian.
Hi,
there.
Lillian.
So hi, Lillian. Stephanie was one of those students on one of those courses that Lillian had done. So she's asking, I run a home circle, and one lady has a very hard time staying calm during the meditation, moves a lot, scratches herself, etc. What advice can you give her to calm down? So, have you got any ideas what that could be?
Oh, to be honest, no.
No
No.
idea.
Oh, Tottenham are winning.
There you go. Spurs are winning 1-0. So, the advice is that the reason that it says like she moves a lot and she starts scratching herself is because what happens is I use this framing of mind. Might be better going that way. So if I'm working in like normal, so this is me and you at work, and then we want to learn to meditate. We've got to drop our awareness into a state where we can listen to the meditation or listen to our team and move our mind closer to the spirit world rather than the physical world.
Yeah. Or a calm state than a sleep
Exactly,
state. Yeah.
exactly that.
Yeah.
And so what happens is the body doesn't understand that. The body doesn't know what you're doing. And so what it does is as you sit there and you light your candles and you've got the temperature right and you've got your music playing and you sit and you try and sit still, what happens is the body's like, oh no, what's going on? What's going on here? The system is failing. So what it does is it makes you fidgety. So it's like what it's trying to do is get you into normality. It needs your mind in the alpha
In the
beta
present,
state.
yeah.
Yeah, it needs you very conscious. So what it'll do is it'll start to make your leg twitch, and so you adjust yourself again, and there'll be a lot of movement. Then what you tend to find is a lot of people get an itchy nose, and they'll start like
Yeah.
sort of start clearing their throat. And what the brain is doing is what the brain is designed to do. It's to keep you alive.
Yeah.
And so what it's doing is like something's failing. Let's create a sensation on the face so they've got to wake up. Let's get them moving because the body shouldn't be shutting down right now. It's not bedtime. They're not going to sleep. It's out of normality.
Yeah.
So the brain is doing what it's designed to do. So the development behind meditation is that you are learning to slow the mind down without the brain going or hitting the panic button like, boo,
Yeah.
here we go, we need to start sending all these signals out. So that's what the development is. And so to calm her down, it would be make her focus on a singular breath or the tick of a clock or the visual of a candle flickering. It's getting the brain to recognize that we're trying to slow it down and we don't need you hitting it with adrenaline. We don't need all of these weird sensations. We need you just to calm down. And the brain goes, oh, right, I see what's going on here. You're doing that weird thing again, Charlie. I won't give you the sensations on your face or I won't make you fidget. So it's development.
Yeah, you can get to those sort of states as well because I found mine is just through breathing, counting beats through breathing.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess it's the same.
And
sort of
what, yeah, so beats is a good way of doing it. So the natural rhythm of the body. Now yours might be 3, 4, 5 seconds, and someone that doesn't smoke and is very fit might find a different natural rhythm. Their ebb and flow to their body will be completely different. So there's no set answer. It's to the individual.
It's to the individual, absolutely.
So I hope that answers you there, Stephanie. So Patchouli says hi. So hi, Carol's added another workshop date there. So thanks, Carol. A big hello across. It's Chris.
Hello, Chris. We were speaking about you before we came live. Actually, I've got a fantastic idea. I'm going to send you a request on Facebook and inbox you. I think you're going to like it.
I think you will like it. I'm not sure I like it, but there you go. So, question for Ray: any truth to the A? Any truth that the A? That the A? I don't get it. Get it? No.
No.
Chris, you're gonna have to retype that. I don't get it. Question for Ray: any truth that's the A? I'm lost. I'm lost with that one. So it makes sense. Thanks. No problem, Stephanie, at all. Chris, I need your question at the bottom there again, mate. So apologies. But yeah, we'll see if it's come up there. I'm still okay. So I need to get that back. Sorry. So there's a bit of a lag there. They're coming through. They are coming through. Right. What's that? I'm still finding the shift hard.
I take it she means the shift between the conscious and the
I think
the
that's
altered
what
state.
she means. Yeah. So I can't. It's really difficult. And these webcams, they're a nightmare because they're mirrored. Can you see? It's like So it's a nightmare to. I'm all over the place with it. So and the easiest way to do that shift, Kate, I know her name's Kate, is that you're learning to do it in small segments. So if I gave Ray, say, let's say an hour, where I'm trying to get him to still his body for an hour and still that mind for an hour, but he's very early on in his development, he's going to spend 50 minutes of that hour arguing about it.
Yeah,
Because you're just so active.
yeah,
You're someone that you've got two kids that you got two cats that jump around. I've got
yeah.
one in my bag down there somewhere. We got two kids up and down the hallway, and you've got a busy life. It's
Oh
not
yeah, it's
that's normal.
crazy.
It's
It is
very
absolutely
busy.
crazy.
And so to get Ray to stop and slow that mind down for an hour is it's just ridiculous to think
Mm.
that you can do that. So my advice to Ray would be, do you know what? Start at 5 minutes, do that for 2 nights. Then for the next 2 nights, try for 10 minutes. And if you fail, go
Go
back
back
to
to
the
five
five,
minutes.
and then do that for a week. If successful, do it for another 2 nights and get it to 15 minutes. And so on and so forth. So 15 becomes 20, 20 becomes 25. And then before you know it, some people love doing it for 40 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour. Now, at the school in Folkestone, we do hold like a 35, 45 minute meditation every morning. So
Yeah,
for a week, these people are getting used to the act of meditation or getting ready to work. And so that helps. That helps in that scenario. But not everyone can
yeah,
sit for that length of time. And so what it is recognizing you as the individual. So Kate, in this example, is finding it difficult to um, get through her this shift as
yeah,
she's calling it, then I would just downscale the time frame there. I would just downscale it a little bit. So which
it's
you'll
fine.
find
Sometimes
much
it's
much
okay to go
easier.
back to move forward, I
Yeah,
guess, really, isn't
definitely,
it?
100%. There's no point trying to fight against the
Yeah,
weakness if it's not if there's no progression
yeah,
there. So
yeah,
just lower the time frame. I mean, how long have you tried meditating? Have you?
no,
Um,
mine's done literally laying in bed for about
yeah.
half an hour before I go to sleep.
Okay.
I'll
So,
try till I'm completely worn out, and then I
that's
can
it,
just
and then
go
you
to
go to
sleep.
sleep. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's the worst case
yeah,
scenario that you can find in any form of meditation. A lot of people get frightened. A lot of people don't really know what that shift feels like or what's going on. And all it is, the worst case scenario is that your mind drops enough that you go to sleep.
yeah.
And so all
That's
you're
just,
trying to do is drop it enough so you're still active within your mind. Here would be trance, then sleep. So it's
that's what eliminated the because there is a fear.
yeah,
Whatever anyone
definitely
says, there is a fear at the beginning. That's what eliminated
one
it for me,
hundred
knowing
percent.
that the worst that was going to happen, I was going to fall asleep.
Exactly,
So that's
exactly. So it's and then progression
yeah,
starts. You know,
yeah.
it's a great example. So we're gonna have to deal with this little lag here for a moment because I need to get to that comment box, because we are slipping behind there. Um, so shift.
Be
So
cool.
makes sense. Question for Ray. Chance weekend. Lillian, can you give us some information about the scientific experimentation with mediumship? So, what Lillian is talking about there is what Lillian is talking about there is uh, the school are running in Folkestone Urshamstar are running a scientific week, and what we're doing is we're working with this scientist, a neuroscientist, and lots of other titles behind his name, Marcus Back Sorensen. And what he's trying to do is create a banner there that science meets spirituality and spirituality meets science, and it kind of explains from both angles and kind of marries it up in a way that the spiritual minded
Yeah,
people can accept the science, and the science can look at the spirituality within the people there. So that's what Lillian wants me to talk about. Hopefully, at some point, I can publish some information and share some documentation. But right now, I don't have that at present. I don't have it to hand. So it's exciting though.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing it. I am just very gonna quickly jump up and try and move that light back a little. Reminding me. My apologies.
Yeah, you okay? How's the picture, guys? Let us know how the picture is.
Little bit better, not
Yeah.
too much better. That's the problem with lighting, you know.
Can try putting the curtains if it's any help.
And no, I think that'll make it worse. I think that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That looks a bit better. So it's not blinding me so much. So cool. So there was other questions there, weren't there? So
RE.
RE. I'm still not sure what that is. So yeah, let's have a look. Oh wait, there's loads. So Selena says evening. So
Good evening, Selena.
is that your mate, Selena?
That's our mate, Selena. Yeah.
I met her at Harlow.
Harlow
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So that's the event. Yeah, there you go, Chris. So Ray, is there any truth in the rumor that you can now buy detachable Charlie Kelly beards at the AFC to help platform confidence?
Oh, Chris, that's brilliant.
No, it's not. No, I am sitting here. I am sitting here. So got me all insecure. So gonna hide under my hood. That is brilliant. So
I'm sure we can make it happen.
sure,
I'm sure we can make it
I'm
happen, Charlie.
sure, and I'm worried about that. I'm worried about that. In that
Oh, that's brilliant.
in that sense. So moving on. So Jeanette says, "I've never seen a trance medium. What is this exactly?" So that is a great question. Do you know what trance is?
Yeah,
Cool.
fantastic music from the early 90s.
It's not that. It's not that.
It's not that. I know what trance is. It's fine.
So trance is like my main work is as a platform mental medium. So it's through the subjectiveness of my mind and me giving it language to an audience in front of me. So that's what's going on there. Trance is more of an altered state. So I'll say it as an altered state, and I've got friends that are trance mediums, and they're welcome to correct me in the comment box if they don't feel I've done it
Sheila's
enough.
trance, isn't she?
Yeah, and a very very good trance medium. That's and what it is allowing the mind to go to that space of trance. And trance is I don't have the figures in front of me, but it's something between 7 and 5 megahertz where the brain waves are firing. So our everyday is like 27 to 35. So that's when you're doing your job or driving your car. So we need to slow down in our development, slow down the mind enough between 7 and 5, and in that space, it's an allowance to allow the influence of the spiritual communicator, usually a guide, maybe a loved one, to use the mind and the voice of the medium, so the person sitting in the chair. And through this, the quality of the spoken word will be undeniable. It will be sometimes the voice may change, but it's undeniable, and a fantastic way to see mediumship. However, Jeanette, do not mistake what I'm saying as channeling. That is not as channeling. And what I see a lot of, and I think you're from America, Jeanette. If your name looks familiar now, and it's because I'm not on Facebook, I'm seeing just a J on here on YouTube. But I think you're from America. And in America, channeling is very, very popular. And what channeling is, it's said that that like aliens or people from planet Zorg want to come and have a chat with a room here in Harlow.
Communicating with a being as opposed to spirit. That kind
exactly. And what we've got to be very very careful of is that I'm not dismissing it. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, because I can't prove that. I can't prove that it doesn't happen. But for me, the spirit world is a world of intelligence, and through that intelligence they will educate and encourage you or me as the individual. And so it makes no sense for me or my mind to understand why they would say they were from planet Zorg and they're coming through to help Ray in Harlow. It would make sense to bring one of your loved ones or your guide to come through and talk complete and utter sense in your everyday or what you're currently going through or what the viewers of your trance would be doing. So it would show intelligence, and that spoken word would be very very
Yeah.
intelligent and for your understanding. It wouldn't start talking about dimensions because dimensions are not confirmed, and it's not something that we can say.
Again, it's not evidential, is it?
It's not
Yeah,
evidential. That's exactly it. It's not evidential. And so what we need it to be is evidential
yeah,
for one, so we understand what we're doing and where it's coming
yeah,
from, and what we're listening to, and therefore it will show that intelligence throughout and that evidence throughout. So trance mediumship would be that for me, not
not
channeling.
channeling.
But I do not want to upset my friends from across the pond. I'm not saying that channeling doesn't exist. I'm just saying it doesn't sit comfortable with me if there's no evidence
Yeah,
or substance that can verify that in some way for me. That makes sense,
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
it? Okay, so like to see you doing trance, Ray. I would as well, actually. That would be fun. So we'll have to get him on a trance
We'll see.
workshop.
You haven't
If I,
even got me into normal workshop yet.
that's it, that's it. So we'll get some peer pressure on the
Yeah,
live chat there,
absolutely.
and we'll see if we can talk him into one. Kerry's asking. You can read that one, can't
Yeah,
you? My
okay.
eyes are
Hi,
open there.
Kerry. Kerry is asking, Charlie, how can someone strengthen and practice mediumship at home?
That's a really,
Good
really
one.
good question.
Yeah.
And
Because
so
you need to set the time
exactly,
first and foremost. Because I know from
100%.
experience that's what I struggle with, time element
Setting
of it.
your time aside. And Kerry, I know Kerry has. I think she's got a couple of children. I can't remember, so my memory's terrible. But you've got a couple of
Yeah,
children. I've got three
yeah,
children, and so it's one of those where time is very, very precious in our lives. So what I did, what I personally did was I set aside a Monday evening. So although it was very difficult to set that time aside, I made it my time.
yeah,
So you're a mum, and and you're entitled to your own development as well, and this time could be late on in the evening. So for me, it was like the kids go to bed at say 8 o'clock, and then from 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock, I would set that time aside. And what I did was I invited my team forward to help me in my development. What they would give me is visuals. Later on, they introduced a meditation kind of thing for me, which I will get onto later, maybe. Um, but they gave me like walkthroughs, like they would show me a scene of a lady maybe losing her mum to cancer,
yeah,
and it felt like while I was in that scene that it was like my own mother. I felt that emotion. I felt what it was like releasing someone or letting someone go in that scenario. And what that development done was it built confidence in me and my team, built confidence in the information that I was receiving, but also gave me confidence in that emotion that what I could do is as that emotion, I used the phone again, as that emotion wore close, it's very difficult not to cry or become emotional. And so because you're becoming hypersensitive, you're developing yourself to be hypersensitive. So it was a development to push that off of me, to feel it, but not cripple me,
yeah,
and be in a wreck, a bubbling wreck, of tears flowing down my face. And then gradually the spirit world would offer these different exercises as such. So it become like a home circle for me. It was like a home circle where only me turned
yeah,
up, but the spirit team would turn up and offer me these different scenarios and
yeah.
these different ways of working. Um, and who asked that? Was it Kerry?
Kerry, yeah,
I don't know if you'll get it now, Kerry, but Tim Abbott wrote a wonderful book about raising the standard of mediumship. And he brought out an Exercise Book 1, and he's just released a book 2. You will find them on eBay. And I was fortunate enough to read the first one before it even made a book. You know, he gave me a copy very early on, and a lot of what Tim was talking about in his book, I was already doing at home
Yeah.
myself. So Tim and myself have kind of developed our relationship with the spirit world in a very individual way, because some people aren't so good in the
Yeah.
classroom or in large groups of. So that was just in addition to Circle, in addition to watching YouTube videos or reading
So,
books
yeah.
or
So
literature.
a lot of it is self-development, isn't it? Really,
uh,
I
uh,
mean, you can teach people, you tell people what they need to know,
but they've actually got
but
to implement it.
they've got to do it themselves. It's
Exactly. And so, if you know, a lot of self development is actually self. It's not to do with the spirit world.
mm,
It's actually self. So, any fear based items need addressing,
yeah,
need looking at. Anything that you're scared of allowing people into your world needs addressing,
yeah,
or how you are in groups or talking to people needs addressing. All
mhm,
these things need looking at. So, that is what I would do. I would set one evening a week, one evening a fortnight, and in that moment you will start to understand how to get it. The most difficult thing to get someone to do, like Ray, would be, as that information comes in down the phone, as it's coming in and down the phone, it's saying exactly what you're getting. Now, the problem that you've got with that is that some people are ethically and morally horrible. There's no, I can't
yeah. There's no
soften
two
that
ways
in it.
about it, is there?
I can't soften that in
Yeah,
any way. That's a reality, unfortunately. So I don't know what Ray's going to do with the information. I don't know how Ray's going to present that information. And so what I need you to do is move that energy. I need it flowing, that energy
yeah,
flowing, its communication. And so as you're getting it, you then present it in a way that it can be on the phone. So now I'm aware, now they're telling me, now they're showing me, and you're expressing
yeah,
that. Now obviously don't need to go into severe detail through like someone committing suicide or drug overdoses, but you can simplify that. You can make it easier or softer for the
yeah.
recipient. And the way that you receive information is maybe different from the way that
Oh
I
yeah,
receive
yeah. And I guess
information.
everyone will be different as well, won't they? So
Exactly. And also your levels of what you would accept are different.
yeah,
So for me, evidentially, I want evidence, and if that means you being graphic or being to the point, I prefer that
yeah,
in
yeah.
myself. However, a lot of people don't like that, and a lot of so I need to very quickly adjust how I present that
Yeah.
information. And my
And
ethics and my
subtleise it, I
morals
guess.
will do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, simplify it. So I would just say you've just got to speak. You've just got to do it in that way. So I think I answered that there for you, Terry. Um, Possibly. So show Ray how to grow. Show Ray how to grow on. USA, yeah, okay. So, and he says the beard's looking great. So,
I can't grow one because mine goes grey. If you get any longer than this, and it starts to go
yeah,
grey.
you know what? I can see it on camera. I've got like a white patch going on here. So that carries on. I'll be taking it off. So anyway, um, so yeah, I think I've answered Kerry's one there. How can someone
Strengthen and
strengthen it and
practice at home.
practice at home?
Yeah.
It's just setting a timetable for yourself and then adhering to it. So then Chris says, I'll let you read that.
Chris, okay, Charlie. Do you feel there is a time element for a spirit to return? What if a client wants to connect with someone who only passed a week ago?
That is a great question. That really is a great question. And I have recently, I believe, yeah, I'm sure I have. I'm sure I've released a video
I
on
think
the
you have.
YouTube channel
Yeah.
on how long does it take for a communicator to come through. And it caused a lot of controversy actually. Not so much in the comment section on Facebook, but more on my email and on my inbox on Facebook, where a lot of people disagreed, saying that what if the client ain't ready for it? What if the spirit world ain't ready for it? And what that shows me is maybe a little bit of a lack of understanding that the spirit world, the moment your spirit I need the other screen. Sorry. The moment your spirit leaves the physical body, it's in spirit. It's there, so it's there,
It's
and it leaves,
instantaneous,
and
pretty much.
it's
Yeah.
there. It's
Yeah.
immediate, and so there is no holding period. There is no holding back. The spirit world is a world of intelligence. Now, if the client wasn't ready for that communication, they wouldn't be seeking me out. They wouldn't be coming to me for that sitting. They wouldn't be there for me. So, for me, it is instantaneously. I've had it recently at a den where my chairperson was chairing me for the evening,
Yeah.
and at 9:30 that morning, they had lost their neighbour. And at 7:30 that evening, the neighbour was communicating, and so for me, that's not a huge
No.
time frame. Now, to the spirit world, time is man-made. To the spirit world, it's eternal. So it's a much higher
Yeah.
frequency. Therefore, time is non-existent in the spirit world. So I can do it instantaneously and to order and evidentially. But from last week, from what I remember, I took a lot of grief on inbox and on email for that video. So I know that not everyone's going to agree with me there. However, it's my opinion. It's what I do for my abroad work. I
Yeah.
do this on a very regular basis, and it is yet to fail. And that's not me being arrogant or egotistical. I look at that as, why would the spirit world
Yeah.
fail?
They
Why
wouldn't.
would they let that down? Why would they let their loved one down? So for me, no, time is it's not an ingredient for me within a communication. So I think I've answered that. Have we got the Spurs score? What's the latest score?
Still 1-0.
It's still 1-0.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Ray's happy. um, there is a space left, one space left on the Trance
Oh,
Workshop,
is
Ray,
there?
apparently. Um, so Kate is saying, with channeling, are you meaning Esther Hicks and Abraham? I wasn't referring to them as like digging them out. Certainly not, because that is it's well followed on YouTube. It's well followed the channel on all social media. So it wasn't that one in particular. And I think it would be slightly unfair of me to maybe pick on some, like, one individual. But I've watched trance demonstrations much more frequently on Facebook, and it leaves me infuriated with the lack of understanding or the lack of knowledge that the spirit world would bring forward, and talk about an individual rather than the collective, and I and we, they get muddled up. And so I know it's the delusion of the mind of the individual's mind. So I've seen a lot of that on Facebook, and to dig any one particular person out would be not really good, and it will cause controversy in my inbox. So in answer to your
Which is
question
full
there,
enough.
Kate, is
Yeah.
the answer is no, I wasn't referring to those in particular. There's only 2 workshops left this year, Ray. So
She's pushing, isn't she?
yeah,
She's
definitely,
pushing.
definitely. So Chris has got another
Oh,
question. So
Chris.
good. So I'll let you read that one. It's
Okay.
that one there.
What would you
Oh,
say? Thanks for moving it, Charlie. That's
no problem.
fantastic. What would you say to people who ask, if the spirit world is such a great place with so many options to grow, why come to the earth plane?
What would I say to those people? I would say that the spirit world is a spiritual world. So it's in essence, it's in the consciousness. However, that is not the physical experience. It's not the density of me being able to touch anything here. It's of energy. So I like to view it like a school of learning from the day we're here. Whether it be the next argument will be reincarnation.
Yeah.
Do you have more than one life? And if so, why do you have more than one life? But what I try to do, and I can't believe I didn't bring it today, is that there are many facets. We couldn't possibly learn everything we need
Yeah.
to from the physical side of life in one lifetime. Like, I'm sure it would be great for you to win £150 million on the Euros. knowing your upbringing and knowing your childhood and into your young adulthood and then starting a family, 150 million euros would go down great right now.
Pretty well right now, yeah.
So, but you've learnt so much through the hardship that you've had that it's made you maybe appreciate the hardships or appreciate certain things. Whereas having all that money from day one wouldn't have gave you that lesson. And I think by revisiting in a different facet as Ray, as Charlie, as whoever, gives you this physical experience which the spiritual world cannot offer you. So I think it's for the people. The reason why we come to the earth plane, I don't like that terminology, but the reason that we come to the earth plane is for that physical experience. So the next question is there from the
From
same.
Chris again. Where do you think we are before we come into this world, and what do you think we are doing? So life goals, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
So
that's a deep
it's a deep one.
question. Yeah, it's a deep question.
It's a why are we here kind of question,
Exactly.
is it?
What is the meaning of
Yeah.
life? What is and the honest answer is I don't know. So I would like to think that we're trying to help one another, and I kind of visualize it in a way that in some kind of silhouette of a person, because we can't be a silhouette of a person because it's energy, it's consciousness. So for my mind to understand it or grasp it, I think what I try to see it as is that I'm like a light being, you know, something that I can grasp with my human mind, and I imagine that we gather as people trying to help the stupid humans that are destroying such a beautiful planet, and I think what we do is we go right. They need to know that there's another world there. For as an example, so we need someone to take the pathway of mediumship, and then me like an idiot was like, yeah, I'll do that, I'll do that, and then along the way, Ray was kind of like in that meeting, around the same age as me, and visited the Earth at that point in time. Said, you know what? Around that age, I'm going to re-enter your life, and I'm going to join the fight and try and show these stupid people that you can't keep running on a monetary system and burning all the resources in the world and expect the world to carry on the way you kind of
It's
visualize
like
it.
a low budget Matrix, isn't it? Really,
Exactly that,
Yeah.
exactly that. So I try to visualize it like that, but in all honesty, I haven't a clue. And if I did, I don't think I'd want to stay here much longer, to be honest with you. So I think ignorance is gonna be bliss in that example
Yeah.
there, Chris. So, but a really deep
Good
question.
Good.
So that's your
Selena,
yeah.
Ray, maybe after you do a workshop, you could encourage Jamie.
There you go.
Jamie is my brother-in-law,
Oh, okay.
and this would petrify him.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I don't know. I think he'd be quite good at it.
Cool. Cool. I think
Because
everyone can do it.
he's a very honest guy.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a very
Straight
honest
as they
guy.
come.
Yeah.
Cool. That's
But
something like
again,
that.
it's down to the nerves, which we all have at the beginning. I hadn't
Definitely.
to begin with.
I still got them now.
Well, yeah,
I've still got
yeah,
them now. So it's that's the self development part of it.
yeah,
You know, it's one of those. It's one of those. So we'll see, eh? We'll see.
yeah.
I've got to get you on one first, let alone this
Well,
dude,
yeah.
Jamie. So there's your next one.
Right, Kerry Stevenson. I searched him last week on YouTube. We'll have a look.
Who was I talking about? Tim Abbott.
Tim Abbott.
That's right. So
Yeah.
I don't think Terry, I don't think he's on YouTube at all. Actually, there's a lot of a backstory going on there, which we're definitely not going into. But I don't think he's on YouTube in that sense. But eBay, you'll definitely find you'll find his book. And he's based in the Midlands, so unless you're prepared to sort of hop in your car and go and watch him up there, but I know he does a lot of work out of the UK as well. So, but yeah, so I speak to him from time to time, and so for me, he's got good advice. He's a good mechanical, evidential medium. So Have a look anyway. But I don't think you'll find him on YouTube unless someone has posted something about him on there. Anyway, this one here.
Okay, I know you run circles, but do you sit in a circle yourself still, Charlie?
Okay, and that's from Kate.
Kate.
I've actually I've stopped doing my weekly circles now, and this is going to sound really blunt and really harsh, which I don't want it to, but
Really, Charlie?
yeah.
Really?
So I had 32 people in the circle, 32. So give you an idea, and that's just in Harlow and surrounding areas. 32 people in there. And the overheads for that evening were the cost of the room. So I said they've got to pay the weekly fees up front, so the room is covered for 8 to 10 weeks. So for 8 to 10 weeks, you pay 8 to 10 weeks. You do the term, and then we start it all over again. That way, the room and all the overheads are covered. That's it, no problem at all. And I had 32 people sign up for that every 8 to 10 weeks. So it was a regular between 20 and 30 regular every 8 to 10 weeks. And every week I would have 4, 5, 6 turn up out of 32 people, And so it disheartened me that the people didn't take it as serious as I did, that this was important. And so, because it's not about money for me, this is not a business. I'm not doing this for business. I'm not doing this to be rich. I'm not doing this to be famous. I'm doing it to give the voice to the spirit world. So it means so much to me. And I want to do it right, And so what I found was that here I am sitting here with 4, 5, 6 people week in, week out, but I could actually demonstrate to a hall full of people on a Tuesday evening and educate maybe 4 or 5 people that want to learn within that room through the act of mediumship. So I decided to stop that. I decided to give the evening back to demonstrating. So my circle is my platform. So I do on average 3 to 4 demonstrations a week. That sometimes they are private dems which you come to, some that you've even organised, or spiritual churches, where I struggle to get fuel costs out of them, So, but that's my circle. I learn so much from the audience, how to keep the energy within the room, how to get deeper and better evidence, and all the time not look worried or affected by by this act of mediumship. So my circle is my weekly platforms that I do in real time. So I'm learning real time, which can scare me, but it's one of those things. So answered. Is there more? Wow, where did that go? There. So
Carol.
no, that one.
No, okay. Sorry, I was meaning the type, not those particularly. These messages don't always finish the message.
Oh, okay. Be nice if the comments, questions, and opinions were saved for these live feeds so everyone can interact and debate, as that is what these feeds are for. Definitely, I do ask people to do that. So maybe Kate.
Okay. Are we going to see Charlie and Ray double dem soon?
I definitely would.
A long time away. That is. That's far away.
I definitely
I'm nowhere near.
And
ready.
I am definitely a demonstrator that encourages people to go onto the platform. I'm not someone that would encourage Ray to go out in his own right or in his own name now.
No.
However, I would encourage Ray to do a link or spend time on the platform with me in a public scenario. And I don't see myself as too big or that I shouldn't be doing that or taking people out with me. When it's local, I take them, and I do a lot of focus on my mentoring, where I take the students out once, twice, 3 times a year with me to these venues, and encourage them to do that. So
See, for me, the presentation side of it wouldn't be a problem because I come from a training background.
yeah, yeah,
I've been an in-centre trainer and
public speaking is not a
yeah,
problem.
not a problem at all. But it's just at the moment I'm still very early on.
Yeah.
I need to get the mechanics right.
There
So
you go. Cool. So he's not ruling it out.
no,
So
definitely not.
maybe, Kate, maybe. Um, so Carol is saying,
I get people do not want to be seen commenting or associated publicly with certain people, which is a shame. Yeah.
yeah, and what Carol's referring to there is that um, for the past maybe 2 years, I've encountered a lot of backstabbing or trying to bring my
Yeah.
reputation or rumor, rumor how that kind of goes. Which means that if you're in my circle, you can't be in the next medium
Yeah.
down the road circle. So it's got the political background there. So it is a shame. I'm not someone that's going to hide away from it. I'm not someone that's hiding from it or saying stuff and then saying that I don't say it, or I'm just not into the game. So I'll call it as I see it. I'll ring them up or I'll dig them out. I've got no problems with that. And if we all did that, then we may all be a little bit more spiritual. But
Yeah.
the way it goes.
Right.
So
Who have we
Chris,
got now? Chris, what would you say regarding the issue that when we pass over, we no longer have a voice box and we are communicating with the mind, pure thoughts? Do you feel it may take
time,
time to learn
yeah,
that
that
process?
process.
Yeah.
For me, again a really good question, a really really good question. So they don't have a voice box because we bury or cremate it,
Yeah.
or so maybe it's donated in the body is donated for science or for whatever
Yeah.
reason, but the body stays here. So the voice box is definitely non-existent there in the spirit world. Communicating with the mind or pure thought. I think it's through consciousness, so I assume you're calling that the mind. I'm not sure it's through pure thought. I would imagine that you would still have to formulate that. And the way I would liken that is that um, I can have a full blown conversation with myself in my head. I don't know if you can do that,
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
I argue with
Oh yeah,
myself.
yeah. Arguments
Um,
all the time.
yeah, and someone pushes in the queue in front of me, and I don't want to be outrageous, and I don't want to be outspoken. So in my head, I'm saying, "Oh, you cheeky
Yeah.
sod!
And
I've
you
been here."
imagine the argument
Yeah,
that you would have as
exactly,
well. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I formulated that in my mind. I haven't used the voice box, but I formulated
Yeah.
it. So, and I liken it to that. That's how I would
Yeah.
imagine that process would go. I don't have to learn that process. That process is already there. But I would imagine it's as free as me thinking within my mind right now. So I'm thinking, what a great question, what a great question, but I'm not saying it out loud
Yeah.
while I'm answering the question. So multitasking
Yeah. And they
in
say
that
men
sense.
can't do it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So Carol has said Kerry Tim Abbott has a web page. Um, Not sure you will get book one now, but you could contact them and ask. So Chris, here
Chris
again.
again, be careful of sidekick constipation doing too much. It needs balance.
And he's absolutely right. And
You need to get over here for a live feed, Chris.
yeah, that's it.
Well, we'll
bring,
go.
yeah,
We'll go over there.
exactly. We'll go to him. Don't come here, Chris. We'll go to you. I'd much prefer going there. Absolutely, and I don't know. Maybe because you are so fresh or so new to looking at development. And maybe other people will engage here on the chat also. Is that you don't know what's right or what's wrong when you first start out. You don't know that. And maybe luckily for you or unluckily for you, you know me.
I've got a Charlie.
And I live just a few minutes away. So you've got that kind of knowledge or experience on tap.
Yeah.
Where I can say, "Oh, don't do that," or "Yeah, definitely try that." You've got that
And I
ability.
do. I hassle Charlie all the time on his inbox.
but
I'm always messaging him.
I'm approachable, or I like to think I'm approachable anyway.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that, and it happened to me. If I'm honest, it happened to me. I was sitting in a lovely little circle in Cheshunt. It was a lovely little circle, and I got on really, really well with the people there. But gradually over time, like there was like practices that just didn't sit right with me, and I always talk about protecting myself against the spirit world, which just it just doesn't work for me. So what happens is that you get some people that everything, you know, like a stone falls in front of me, or I trip up a curb, or I look at a clock and it's 4:44, and then I look at the moon and it's a full moon, and
Yeah.
tonight I can see 5 stars, and it's the spirit world are giving me information all the time, and before you know it, you're mental, you're crazy,
Yeah.
you're delusional, you know, and but if that's the person beside you constantly filling your
Yeah.
mind with this information, it then educates you to be that way. So that balance thing that Chris is talking about is so important.
Yeah.
And what that balance did for me was that when I'm Charlie in my normal everyday life, like Ray is in his everyday life and Chris is in his everyday life, you're allowed to be wrong. You're allowed to get it wrong. You're gonna make
Oh yeah.
mistakes. We
Yeah.
all are. However, when my mind went to mediumship, so I alter that state, or I alter that state to work with the spirit world. In that process, I made a distinct discipline within my mind of when I was with the spirit world and when I wasn't.
Yeah.
So that balance is really, really
It's
important.
important.
Really, really important. So we have another there.
Here we go. Selena, that's terrible. Well, you have been the best I've seen so far. Others digging you out. There have been a few as well. I mean, I've seen
Yeah.
some of the criticisms you've had on like social media, and it's not, some of it's not nice stuff,
No, that's right.
but you have just got to be the better person. And
I think, do you know, I've been doing a lot of research recently, and if you guys are watching me do these masterclass videos, or the vlogs trying to show you what I get up to during the day, you know, and I'm trying to keep up daily with that, but having 3 children and having a life also off of cameras proving a little bit difficult right now. You will see, you will see exactly what that
yeah,
encounters or what that
yeah,
takes, and what I found trying to learn to be like a creator, trying to be someone given a new approach, and doing things like live
yeah,
feeds or vlogs or videos to educate people like you, Ray, or the other normal people out there, is that along the way, the people that are very big names within their field, within their industry, have also encountered this kind of problem, you know, whether it be a movie star, a singer, or other
yeah,
creators on YouTube. And one of them the other day said, if you are doing things and people aren't talking about you, then you're probably not doing it right. It's when you're
yeah,
getting it so right and you're causing such problems, and you're making people question and challenge what is deemed the right way.
yeah,
If that's not happening, then you're not doing a good enough job there. So what I try to do is try and stay positive, and it's not nice reading bad things about you, and it's not nice hearing stories about you, and it's not nice always having to defend yourself. So what I've started doing is stop defending myself, get on with my life,
and let your
and let
work do the talking, basically.
exactly
Yeah,
let my
absolutely.
mediumship do the talking,
Yeah,
and from that, Harry Kane scores a goal. So he's happy now.
2-0.
But yeah, and unfortunately, I have encountered a lot of that. So I just think that if they're picking on me and they're digging me out, then that's a good thing, because they're leaving new people alone,
Yeah,
and I walk my talk, you know. So it's really
yeah.
good. More to the point, we need to look at this one here, because this one looks really exciting.
Rooms are ready.
So that's
We're going to
going
the
to Chris.
States, man. We're going to the States.
That's it. That'd be awesome. So
You
rooms
ask
are
my
ready.
missus for me. You speak to her for me, yeah?
And
No,
I,
no,
I,
no.
I think she would actually punch me. So I don't know her well enough yet.
What are you saying
But the
about my
impression
missus? I
she
can't
gives me
believe you, Charlie.
is that she would punch me. So yeah, or she's away
Or
packing
she'll
the
pay
case.
you.
Yeah. So what's
Right.
that? Been loving
Been
the
loving
blog.
the blogs.
So cool.
Who have we got?
Um,
Carol. Do you think mixed teachings or philosophies are a good thing, or do you feel it causes problems in your development?
Great question.
Yeah, another good question.
There is someone in here. I've got to remember her name. Kerry. Um, and you're a great example of this, Kerry. So please don't be offended. I'm using it as an example. Kerry attended one of my workshops recently, and as I said, a very good medium. She has very good potential, providing she sort of disciplines
Yeah.
her way and puts in that requirement, that
Yeah.
development there. The potential is very high there. However, she's had teachings from me. She's had teachings from people that I'm not so fond of, and I'm still taking the knives out of my back from those
Yeah.
people. Um, that our philosophies collide,
Yeah.
and so let me give you an example. That one would say you have to protect yourself from the spirit world because you don't know, blah blah blah. And then you come into my classroom and I'll say we're not wasting time on that because blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then the philosophies collide. And so then what someone like Kerry will do will go, well, why is that not working? That should, that philosophy that you speak of, that
Yeah.
intelligence of the spirit world, should marry up. If it's a universal intelligence, then we should all understand that in the same way of thinking. And so what happens is that people like Kerry, just as this example, will have an element of confusion. Now, what that confusion will do, it will drive you to find the answer,
Yeah.
and therefore build your own philosophy,
That's
or
what I was going to say. That it might not necessarily be a case that there is a right or a wrong. It has to sit right in your own mind. It
in the
doesn't matter
individual.
what the philosophy is, as long as it's right in here.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
but what happens is that you've got some personalities, and certainly the mediums that I know, especially well known in the
Yeah.
field, they are of a strong personality.
Yeah.
They are a powerful character, and they live in an environment
Oh.
where people where people look up to them, people admire them, people want to be them,
Yeah.
people want to do things like that. And that's this sense of power then can transmit through their spoken
Yeah.
word. The power of their word becomes incredible. And so then what happens is, as I say, Kerry will have a question, and said tutor will say, no, you're wrong, shut up. So what happens is that people like Kerry that haven't developed that personality to come out
Come
in their
forward with it. Yeah.
mediumship yet, quashes any confidence, and makes them sort of crawl back under their rock, or
Yeah.
go into their cave or in their shell even more, making it more difficult to coax
Yeah.
them out of that and get their personality out. So you need to find tutors that are encouraging, people that are trying to help you and
Yeah.
move you
Yeah.
forward, not
Otherwise, you will
squash
dilute
you.
the information when it comes to that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and it's the amount of, yeah, honestly, the amount of inboxes I get from people that say their tutors are saying this, and they said this to me, and they said that to me, and the amount of repair work that I'm doing privately in my daytime, trying to rebuild these
Yeah.
students that have been destroyed by so-called massive names within the mediumship field. It is incredible. You honestly wouldn't believe it. It's an incredible number. It really is. Um. What's this one here? Keep doing that one.
Just about. Yeah. Is that cat? Yeah. What would you advise to a teenager who is just starting to discover a connection with spirit and starting to get slightly scary experiences?
Very.
Yeah.
That's a good one. It
Is
is a
it
good one.
scary because it's new?
Yeah.
I think that's where we're
Definitely
going, isn't it?
one
Yeah.
hundred percent. And the what the problem is that we have with slightly scary experiences, that which you would have encountered yourself,
Yeah.
is that we don't know what it is, so we immediately fear it.
Yeah.
So if I got a box in here, which I won't struggle to find.
No.
There's a lot of craft boxes in there. But let's say I put a towel or a blanket over it, and I suggested to you that there was a venomous spider in there. and then I asked you to put your hand in there, and I put a pipe cleaner in there. You'd feel the leg of that pipe cleaner, and you would immediately think, "Oh my God, there's a scary spider in there. It's going to bite me. It's going to kill me. It's venomous." And then I actually show you. I take the lid off and I take the towel off, and I show you, Ray, you were being silly. Look, it's a pipe cleaner. I just suggested the fact that there was a problem. And what's happened with this teenager here is that the suggestion has come from social media.
Yeah.
The suggestion has come from Hollywood or the films or the people that don't have a clue what they're doing with when they're working with the spirit world.
People see spirit as ghost.
Exactly. And so what's happened is this slightly scary experience has now become her knowledge or her understanding of said spirit world. So if the teenager is starting to discover a connection with spirit, then spirit is pure essence love. So it's a wonderful, magical moment, and nothing can scare you, nothing can harm you, nothing can hurt you. Then the scary experience is the manifestation of her or his fear.
Yep.
Yeah, does that make sense? So it's through the
absolutely.
projection of the individual's fear. If it's the spirit world, it will be love, joy, in its full expression. So, Facebook or other social medias, any social medias, film, stories, lack of understanding would have scared this teenager. My advice to the teenager will be go have a life, go do things, learn, make mistakes, go and do all those things first, because that experience will help the mediumship in development. You're just a teenager, there's loads and loads of time to go into it. So that would be my advice, because mediumship is a dedication. I mean, I've turned my back on a lot of things in the physical world to fulfill my desire to be that voice for the spirit world. So my advice is go have a life and revisit it later. However, if you turn that advice and you want to embrace the spirit world, then embrace it. But know that it can't harm you, and it is a wonderful thing that you're doing there. I don't know what that is. I might have to quickly. I'll jump off here. I'll have a look at what that is on here. I don't know what that is.
A padlock and a pen.
Lock with ink. Lock with ink pen. I don't know what that means. You know what that means? How do you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
exactly
it
how
looks
it's spelled,
like
Charlie.
Ollie. Do you believe in goats?
What?
Goats. I believe in goats. Well, I was at Colchester Zoo yesterday, and I had my little 8-year-old with me. So I definitely believe in
Seeing
goats.
is believing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I fed them like these little pots of food. 100% believe
Charlie,
in
we've
goats.
gone way off track.
Yeah. So anyway, Chris has a question now.
Chris, I hear some of the well-known spiritualist colleges are getting very pricey. Not mentioning any names. In and around the Essex area, because there's so many. Such a shame. I understand you need to cover costs, but not to fleece.
Okay, so
fleece is an American term as well.
Yep, definitely. Oh, he's from the UK, Chris.
He's from the UK.
Yeah.
Okay.
So puts me in a right position here, didn't he? So so let me
I've grilled you about this certain place as well before, haven't I?
Yes, you certainly have.
Haven't I? Yeah.
And so I totally agree that as we break this down, as you break down the cost of what's going on. So let's say let's put a figure on it. Let's put £600 on it. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at all the spiritual colleges in the Essex area websites lately. I haven't looked, but let's just take one of them for example. I haven't been on their website, and let's say the cost is £600 for a 7-day course. So if you break that down, that's down to what, £85 a day for the tuition, for £85 a day tuition. And then on that £85 a day, you are also getting your free meals a day and your accommodation. So you're actually probably paying something like £50 a day tuition, and then £45 for your room and your meals. Which anywhere in the world I don't know that teaches that kind of thing is reasonable. I think that's
Yeah.
a reasonable rate to be going through. I do know that the spiritual college in the Folkestone area, urshamstar.co.uk, are a fraction of the cost of the ones, let's say, in the Essex area, with the same kind of tuition also. So I don't know the current state of prices. I honestly haven't looked. The grounds in the Essex area are absolutely stunning. They are absolutely amazing. Um, but you know, it's what you want from a tutor. It's what you wanna go from. Now, I do know that there is an ongoing post right now on Facebook, and I know that Chris knows of the ongoing post on there. Yeah, that is currently underway, which I had a glance at before I stepped on to do my live YouTube chat with guest Raymond Head. But so I agree, it was very expensive, the ones that I used in the Essex area, and I did free at one of those in the Essex area. And one of those I used out of those three was Tim Abbott's, and I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. The others I wasn't so pleased with the tuition that I received in those area, yeah, or in that area.
Here's an
So
interesting one. In regards to that, actually,
yeah,
is it because it
an
didn't
interesting.
sit right with you, or is it just the way that it was being taught, the philosophy side of it? Or
Um, not really. It was more the tutor that I first signed up with. And I'll spare the names. I don't need to dig them out, do I? Was that it seems to be like a popularity thing. So very early on, I realised that there was a bit of a click when you went to this kind of thing, and you get clicks
yeah,
wherever you
wherever you
go.
are.
You know, whatever you do, you get the gatherings of people, and some people can afford 5, 6, 7 courses a year, and they will tend to mingle with people that can afford 5, 6, 7 courses a year, and people like me that had to save up for 18 months to be able to do one
Yeah,
of these courses was I just felt a little bit let down in the tuition that I received. So what was being spoken about didn't seem to sit right with me. So on a philosophy level, didn't quite sit
no,
true with me. Then being asked to do certain things within that week that I hadn't watched any tutor do themselves in their demonstrations that I had gone to watch, and there I am being told to do it in a classroom
yeah,
scenario, but I hadn't watched any of the tutors do that themselves. So from the teaching aspect, not walking the talk.
yeah, yeah,
So just little things that sort of built up that just I wasn't happy with, and as I said, I saved for 18 months to do it, and I felt like I was just asked to one side
yeah,
because I wasn't part of the clique, or I
yeah.
wasn't gonna
A regular as
like, oh,
such.
you're amazing, please, please, like take me
Yeah.
under your wing. So it's just for me, just little bits and bobs as I went along the way. So um, yeah, so I.
Carol, I think Ollie means ghosts. Really?
Okay, so
Okay.
ghosts. So
Do you believe in ghosts and not goats?
okay, so ghosts. Do I believe in ghosts? Um,
Well,
yeah. So
mm,
ghosts are ghosts are see, without terminology is going to play a big role here, big role. So ghosts are real as such. They are real as such. But what people mistake is the intelligence. There's no intelligence like a communication with the spirit world.
yeah,
So what will happen is it's like a recording of what's going on in the room now. You know, so if you wasn't in your home, I can tune in my psychic. I could psychometrize the building, And I could maybe feel that there would be children. I may hear children's laughter in the play because I know that you've got
Yeah.
two young girls. But I would maybe pick that up from the fabric of the building because we are electromagnetic fields. We're surrounded by an aura, and that aura is constantly emitting. And so that's in the fabric of the building. And what happens when people see ghosts is they see like a repetition. So you see the grey lady on the
Yeah.
stairs. And
So
what's happened?
kind of like you got spirit, and
Yeah,
then you've got energy,
that's
and then
it.
you've got spirit energy.
Yeah, okay,
So
okay. That works for me.
yeah.
I can have it that
So,
way. And so what happens is you get the grey lady that always walks down the stairs.
yeah.
And what happens is one person sees the grey lady walking downstairs. Then after 5, 6 years, loads of people have been talking about the grey lady walking downstairs. Now, when everyone turns up to the to go and see the grey lady walking down the stairs, their mind is attuning. They're focusing in on a psychometry level of said
Yeah.
staircase to see said grey lady, and so they're attuned to the fact of seeing the ghost.
Yeah.
So they will see the apparition, horrible word, of said grey
Yeah.
lady, but at no point can that grey lady communicate. It's
Yeah.
just she walks down the stairs, she disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no intelligence there whatsoever. Um, so so that's that
Who's that? Cat.
cat. Yeah.
Going back to what you said earlier, do you think there are bad spirits out there?
Absolutely not. 100%. Absolutely no bad spirits. And I've had a few arguments here on YouTube over that matter. And so there is a video. There is a video on my YouTube channel, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. Um, it's something like "What is energy" or something like that. I'll see if Carol is uh, if she can list. I'm not sure if you can place links on this chat. I think I've disabled it. But on the channel there is something that says about what is energy or something along those lines. And energy is positive or negative. That's every day. That's going on all the time. So positive and negative all the time. That's just natural law. That's what's going on. However, spirit is essence, purity, pure love, pure joy, pure abundance. Is purity, and so there simply cannot be bad spirits. There can be bad energy, but not bad spirits. So, but I have done a whole video on that, cat. So, if I can get it in the link for you, I will put it in the link there later for you. But I know it is there on one of the masterclass videos. So have a look. It's got the blue background. It'll have masterclass stripes across it, and I know that it will that will inform you of my opinion on that subject. Um, so they're saying,
JJW, hi.
"Oh hi."
Hi. Okay, Chris, when we will be able to book the Charlie Kelly cruise ship round the island tour and mediumship course? Well, that's high expectations, isn't it, my man?
Yeah. But I know what Chris is doing there. And
Let's
Chris,
just get the shirts sorted
Chris is
first.
trying to get me in trouble. I see what you're doing, Chris, and I'm not. You're not reeling me in. To be honest, mate, I don't think you'll ever see me on a cruise ship going around the islands and doing a mediumship course because I'm not doing it for the fleecing aspect. Certainly not doing it for the popularity aspect. If that was the case, I'd be charging for the videos that are going on the YouTube channel. However, the intensive training, one where you are actually going to learn and do something, and you will watch me demonstrate that on a mediumship level. I don't think you ever see me on a cruise ship round the islands or a mediumship course. If you do, then I've won the Euro Millions lottery,
And it's his yacht.
and it's my yacht, and I invite you to join me. So it's not you guys paying for my holiday to go around the islands in Thailand at your expense. And me just throw in a couple of psychic exercises and a couple of mediumship exercises. I'm just not that kind of medium, I'm afraid, and Although they are out there, and I
Are they really?
believe Chris may know that. But uh,
What have you seen? I saw.
we'll cover that one in a minute. So, JJ.
JJ, sorry I joined just now. Don't know if anyone asked this already, but what is your opinion on higher selves? Some circles work very closely with them, but often it just sounds like guides to me.
And I would agree
I've
with
not
JJ.
heard that expression before. Higher
Yeah,
selves. What's that?
so a higher self is what they call your spirit or your soul. There's loads and loads of different terminology. So I prefer the way that Silver Birch does it, and I usually bring a Rubik's cube with me. And again, I forgot it on this live feed. But if I'm up here, my higher self, my spirit, my loved ones, the spirit world is up here, and the physical world is down here. We move our mind and our spirit to work closer to the spirit world, therefore visiting our higher self, etc., etc. So I agree with JJW on that front. That's not updating for some reason. I agree with JJW on that front. It can sound a little bit quirky, a little bit love and light, a little bit delusional. It can sound all of those things. Guide is a good way of describing it. Higher self is also an okay way of dealing with it. The spirit world is also another term. There are many, many terms out there. And what I try to do is teach the purity, the simplest mechanic possible for you to understand. So in that instance, whatever sits right with you as the individual will be absolutely fine. So then Chris says,
I saw a white crow yesterday. For real, what do you think? I'm liking Chris.
So Chris has been watching my videos, and I had a not I think an argument would be too strong, but someone had a very in-depth go at me the other day because of spirits and bad spirits and good spirits. So to underline it, there is no bad spirit. For me, it's purity, and to say anything other than that, God made a massive mistake. So that's cleared that straight up. Spirit is essence purity, and therefore will not show any signs of negativity or failing, because it's spirit, it's pure. But someone then attacked me very publicly on YouTube, saying that just because you haven't seen a white crow before, Charlie, doesn't mean they don't exist. And I think Chris may have read that and is bringing it up. So I would be interested if Chris, if you saw the very rare white crow that everyone's looking for, did you take a picture? And if you did, whack it in the comment box for me to use. So, oh wow, they're really flying
there
in
we
now.
go.
So, oh, I can't do it on that one. So sorry, I just joined, done that one. So you're there.
Okay, Jeanette. Ghost sounds like over energy imprinted on a certain space.
That's just another way of putting
Yeah.
it. So that would be your energy, spirit energy in the middle. Yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
alright. I like it.
Chris, have you ever posted any of your dems on YouTube yet? And if not, why? And I think I know the answer.
Okay. So I'll let you try and answer it if you like.
Because you use it more for your training side of things, don't you? It's purely for training purposes that you
100%.
that you
So the problem is over here, Chris, is that I'm a lone wolf at the moment, and when you're fighting huge organisations because you're telling them that they made this mistake and that mistake, and they're teaching this wrong and teaching that wrong and this, that, and the other. They are all over me the moment I make a slip with a word or a terminology a mistake, maybe. And so I have recorded them. They will be going out at some point. But the reason right now is I'm gaining enough momentum to show that I am actually in the act of mediumship. I just wanted to make sure that I was getting it right. And it's very difficult watching yourself doing it. It's unedited, so you won't see any edits within my demonstration. It's as it happened, and it will show. It will show that I'm not cold reading. It will show that I'm not using any kind of trickery or mentalism. I'm not getting the audience to fill in my answers. I'm not feeding from the audience. It's straight pure mediumship. However, when that hits this format, this platform, my world is going to get very ugly very, very quickly, because I will be digging a lot of people out just in that demonstration.
You're going to be opening yourself up quite a lot when it goes out, I think.
Exactly. So I just need to prepare myself, mentally know that I'm strong enough to deal with what know what happens, and
So, I mean,
from there
you
I
get
will
these
go
celebrity mediums, like the Long Island Medium, or what's the other one, Matt Fraser in America.
Yeah,
They've got a whole team behind them who deal with that sort of
exactly, and
they don't need to look at it. But you're running this on your own.
yeah, that's it.
It's just you.
It is a lone wolf.
What are you doing?
But look, so he's so funny.
You need a team.
I need a team.
You need a big team. You've got Carol.
Well, what I need to do then is I need to organise a cruise ship around the islands tour with a mediumship course to pay for the admin team that goes with it. So I don't know what's happened there. That looks like it's paused, but we'll
persevere. We'll carry on.
We'll resume.
Yeah.
It's okay this end. So.
Okay, so where are we on the questions? Let's have
so we are here. No.
Posted Dems,
no,
right? Okay, Carol sent a link there for one of your YouTube videos there.
Yeah.
Chris, never say never.
What's that for?
The cruise ship, I guess.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
Or could it be? Could be the crow.
No, the crow's coming up in a minute, mate. I've already seen it.
Oh right, okay. Okay, Carol, the video is called "What is Energy?" Okay, in case the link does not work. Okay. Thank you, Carol.
So. Yeah.
Right. Charlie.
We are.
There we go, Kat. How do you feel about things like Ouija boards?
Ouija boards,
spirit boards.
Spirit boards.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
See,
You are definitely.
listen.
You're watching the videos. You're definitely watching the videos. So, Ouija boards. Now, I'm sure I have done a video on spirit boards and Ouija boards. My view is very quickly a wonderful tool within mediumship, and I think that's what. Have you watched the video?
I believe so. Yeah.
It's a great tool for mediumship if used correctly. And the way to use it correctly is not to be scared. Don't be high on drugs. Don't be, down in alcohol. Don't be doing it. That
stigma around it again, though, isn't it? It's perception.
Exactly.
What people believe to be true, and
exactly. So it's a wonderful, wonderful tool, but got to use it correctly. So I don't know. Are you guys still getting a clear communication on the stream? Because mine has frozen this end. Someone there. What's going on there? Still getting questions though. So
yeah, must be worth.
Cool. So up here we've got trial by looks of it.
Chris, no, I did see a white crow yesterday.
We'll try and get a photo. The problem we now have, Chris,
was it a dove?
The problem we now have, Chris, is we don't know if you're joking or not. So, and there is a huge possibility it could have been a dove. You're right. Yeah. So we don't know if you're joking or not. So
or some sort of giant albino pigeon or something like that.
Right. You will have to go from Lone Wolf to the Lone Ranger. and Chris is receiving clear. There's the Ouija board link as well. So, do you have any more questions? Because we are approaching an hour and a half. Because I started that.
I'll chuck another one at you.
No bloody dove. That's brilliant.
Oh,
Anyway,
oh, I've forgotten now. Right, okay. When you're communicating to order, is there
yes.
any reason why a person wouldn't come through? Whether that be whether the person's not ready to receive the information, or does that just not sit right with you? Because I know that your understanding is if they are there, they will come through.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So if a client comes in and they say, look, I want to talk to my dad, then there is no reason why the dad wouldn't be there. There is no reason why dad will not communicate. Whether ready or not, the communication has been to order in that example. So something there is saying that the client has come in, whether they're ready or not, there is some form of
There's some
readiness
sort of wanting for it, isn't there?
because
So
they've
yeah,
asked for it.
yeah,
So in that case, it would be, why wouldn't dad turn up? Why wouldn't dad be there for his daughter, for his son? Why wouldn't dad be there? So in that understanding, and it's yet to fail for me. And I'm probably, this is my second year doing this abroad communications to order, and I must be at, it's got to be nearly 1,000 or possibly more than 1,000 sit-ins in that order, in that way to order, and it hasn't failed. So, and why would it? Why would it fail? It can't fail. Everything would be evidential, and why wouldn't they turn up for their loved
yeah,
one? Does that make sense?
yeah, absolutely.
Um,
So how does it work in like in your demonstrations then? Because obviously I've been to a few of your demos now, and
yeah,
there's always quite a few. There's a considerable number of people there normally.
yeah, yeah.
Is it a case like when spirits coming through? Obviously, you're not going to get through everyone in that evening.
Correct. Correct.
Is it? The way I see it in my mind is that spirit are literally there at the deli counter, pulling a ticket out, waiting for their
Exactly.
turn. Is that how it works?
And that's a good way of describing it. I can't remember the last time you went to a deli counter and pulled a number, so you obviously
I
don't
think
do
I
the
did my blood
shopping, mate.
test last week as well.
So I kind of, my faith and my trust in that is that my team know best in that example, and if I try to govern that in any way, then I'm playing God for
You're
the evening.
stepping on their toes as such, aren't you?
Exactly,
I guess.
and so that is why I don't work directly where I go, I'm drawn to the lady at the back there, blah blah blah. What I will do is I will give the evidence first. I've got a dad here. He shows me that he passes at 57 years old. He dies very quickly of a heart attack, and it's at the wheel of an A-class Mercedes. He tells me his daughter's at the back of the room over there. So it's evidence first,
And then,
followed by the directness. And with that, it means that the spirit world have still formed that cue. The spirit world is still governing what's going on there. If I'm drawn to the lady at the back over there, and now I'm connected to her psychically, cold call, cold read. I'm connected to her psychically, and I'm aware that she's lost her father. Then I go and get her father. Then the cue is null and void because I have determined that. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, um,
a bit touchy about that.
It was no bloody dove. It was a white crow. I know my crows. Okay, so Jeanette is asking.
Okay, I think using tools depends on your intent for the higher good, for the highest good. Yeah,
I would agree with that as well. And some people, you have to appreciate that over time I've developed a level of confidence, a level of a relationship that I love so much with my spirit team. And equally, people develop that relationship with maybe crystals or cards. And I'm not saying that they're not working with the spirit world, but what they're doing is that they're using it as an influence. So what they're doing is offsetting the mind that they don't have to trust themselves; they can trust the card or the tool, as she's asking there. So I would agree with her there.
So we've got JJ. What do you think about people that say they are connected all the time with spirits, telling them what to buy, what to eat, who to call, etc.? That whole on-off
Balance.
balance.
So that someone else brought it up earlier, and it is about balance.
Yeah.
Those people are called here in the UK. We call them nutters.
Yeah.
So they're mental. And it's just delusion. It's just delusion
Yeah.
that goes on there, and sometimes these people aren't ready to hear,
The truth.
yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I actually know a couple of people that will say things like, the spirit world told me to call you, and Charlie, you need to stop doing this. My spirit team are telling me this and telling me that, and unfortunately that is part and parcel of it. So that's the balance that we speak of.
Yeah.
So I need to have a physical life. I need to do normal things. And at that point, I will not communicate with the
Yeah.
spirit world, and that gives me my discipline,
Yeah.
my mind. Yeah.
Okay. Carol's posted a link to the video Communications to Order.
Yeah.
Okay. JJ again. And if it doesn't work like that, exactly who are they communicating with? Channeling? Again, that's
Okay.
out of the psychic
Yeah,
mediumship thing
or
is
delusion.
or delusion. Yeah.
So their mind is just simply delusion. It's just simply delusional. So uh, it's just their imagination may be running wild, and
Yeah.
you get all kind of minds that very active, and
Yeah.
their imagination is very active. And if I'm honest, I needed that discipline in my mind, so I didn't do things like what's being suggested there. So that's why I need to be normal at certain
Yeah.
points of the day, and then communicate at given times
It's
during
like
that day.
what you do in your demonstration, like grounding yourself, isn't it? Yeah.
100%.
Okay, Carol, if the video links are not working, we will adjust the settings for the next feed. Thank you, Carol.
So,
Chris, oh God. Have you seen recent photos of who?
Kia.
Kia.
Kai, yeah.
Okay, I'll let you do that one then.
You know what? This is going to get me in loads of trouble. I mean, proper trouble. Have I seen it? I have, but I also know someone that works in his circle very, very, very closely with Kai. And I know he teaches fraudulence. So that for me, no matter what he does, if it's real or unreal now, from that moment, um, it will never be real for me because there's that element of doubt there for me. So I can't have an opinion because it is very biased. If you cheat once, you will cheat again and again and again. So I just can't have an opinion on that because it's so biased in that mind frame. I will never ever sell myself out at any point for any amount of money ever. So that's my ethic, my moral. But I know for a fact that there has been fraudulence there. Therefore, all credit is lost with that medium. Um, what is that? Um, uh,
Chris, white crow.
I think did he post a picture? I don't know if it stopped it coming through. I don't know if it stops it coming through. I saw a link and then it's gone. An admin haven't done it. It hasn't been erased by us. Uh, uh, Chris. It hasn't been erased by us, so it may be my settings because I don't want to be hounded with spam. So that's why we've got moderators in the in the room this evening. So point taken. Cool. So we've been going a while now, so I am going to start to. It flew off. So I must say, Chris, you have been very entertaining. Are you on Skype, Chris? Are you on Skype? Because I may actually be able to do a Skype live feed. We can link the three up. I think it would be entertaining. Very good. So I've really enjoyed this evening. Thank you again, Ray,
Thank you for coming round, Charlie.
for allowing us to use your home and.
It's been a lot more classy this time. I mean, we didn't speak about breast enlargements or anything tonight. It was brilliant.
At the moment. So, you need to remember this guy's name, this Chris Meredith.
Yeah, I'm going to be inboxing you very
him.
soon.
So, and there you go. So people want Zoom. Okay, so I'll look in at downloading Zoom. and we'll try and get Chris Meredith on a live chat for you at some point
That'd
for
be
the viewers.
brilliant.
So I look forward to next time. I'm away for pretty much all of May teaching and their residential courses, but where I can get on, I will get on. Um, so be patient with me, and I promise it'll be worth the wait when I get back at the end of May, early June, where my vlogging, my masterclass series, my live feeds are gonna go through the roof. From that, I hope we can have Ray on again at some
We'll
point. So
definitely do it
show
again.
some love for Ray in the comments if you're still about and you're still kicking around there. Post live feed also, show him some love. And hit him up on Facebook if that's what he wants. If
Yeah,
not,
go
leave him
for it.
alone. But you'll find him on my Facebook and the threads there. So until next time, I'm going to sign off.
Any plugs?
Is there any plugs? I don't know. I've got a dem on June the 1st at Stevenage, and the link is in the chat. But I will get it put in there again in a moment. I'll leave this running for 5 more minutes. So any other questions that you want to add, you can add now. I'm going to turn the camera off and the mic off. You can add that there and I can roll it in and answer. And with admin adding links to the ticket event at Stevenage for a demonstration, an evening of mediumship with me, Charlie Kelly. And I think you're going, aren't you? Are you there?
Stephen, enjoy him,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Ray will
Yeah.
be there. So you can definitely see us both
Come and say hi.
at the Stevenage Dam. Yeah. So I'll speak to you all soon. Look after yourself. Thank you again, Ray, for allowing us here in your home. And until next time, peace out.
Take care.
Ciao.